Alright guys, I'm back with another exciting measurement episode. How are we going to handle this? Let's talk about that. Okay, so we already measured this room in a prior episode and found the square footage of our lovely classroom, right? We can see that it's 230 inches by 231 inches, right? Almost a square. I rounded a little bit, we're off by fractions. But this guy's in the way. If I'm going to be having flooring placed in here, this guy is going to be kind of in the way, and obviously I'm not going to floor underneath it. So we need to figure out how to take care of this square. Essentially, the room looks a little bit like this. So there's a couple ways we can actually go about solving this. Let's talk about that. Now, we know from here to here is 231, and from here to here is 230 inches, right? Now that is including flooring for all of this. Now if I were to actually truly measure this room, I would just account this thing in the measurement, still order the same material, and know that I have some extra, and that's always a good thing to have a little bit extra. If we're getting exact, the customer wants exactly a certain material, and you need to actually get the exact measurement for something, then we need to figure this thing out. What we do is, we will have to measure this table width and length and find the square footage of this table and subtract it from the square footage of this room. So we need to find a square footage of this table and subtract it from this square footage. Okay? Hopefully you're following along. Let's refresh and do the square footage of this room. So if we take this, divide by 12, because we need to get this into feet, right, we are going to get 19.17. Multiply that by 19.25. And this will give us 369 square feet. And some change, but we're going to round it to the nearest whole number. So to be safe and to kind of make this a little bit nicer, let's just round it up to 370, right? Make everyone's life a little nice. So we go over here, we know that this is 370 square feet. We need to find the measurements of that guy. Let's do that right now. Measure the length, and we are at about 41 and an eighth maybe, but there's a little bit of a lip here, so I'm going to measure at 41. So we can put the length at 41 inches. Now let's measure the depth. And it looks like we're at 23 and almost 23 and a half. But again, the little lip below here, I want to make sure that I am accounting for these cabinets, so we're going to do 23. We can also double check. I mean, it's not nice because it's there, but it looks like 23 is where it's going to be, plus that. I'm just going to say 23. I think that is going to be just accurate enough to take down what this cabinet square footage is. So 23 inches. Let's figure this out over here now. So I went a couple steps ahead. We have 41 inches times that by 23 inches. We got to divide that into 12 to make it into feet. And we are at 3.42 feet. Multiply that by, that's going to be just under 2 feet. Call it 1.92. We multiply this together, and we get 6.6 square feet. For the sake of this, we can measure up, right, and do 7 square feet. I'm okay with that. It might be a little bit larger than we might think or we might need, but I think that's just enough to account. So 7 square feet. Let's take 7, subtract it by, or 370, subtract by 7, and we get a total adjusted square feet of 363 square feet. That would be the adjusted square feet, taking this into account. I know there are probably math teachers screaming at me because of all my rounding, but this is the true building way to find it. Yes, being exact is nice. However, when we're ordering materials, materials aren't exactly exact, right? So rounding up and getting the appropriate kind of material would be just fine. Now, honestly, I would still order this amount. But if you truly need to know, that comes in handy for painting, that sort of thing, then you have that number. That is how you find this sort of equation. If it was the other way, right? If you had a room with an extra like closet attached to it, you would do the same thing. You would find out how wide and how long the room is. Looks like this, right? 231. Then you have to find out the actual length and width. But instead of subtracting, we add this together because we're adding on another room or another area. Hopefully that makes some sort of sense. This is probably one of the easier types of measurements and trying to figure them out. So I hope you guys learned a little bit, and we're going to be on to the next one to figure out bigger areas. All right, guys, we'll see you in the next video.